Isaiah 11:1. And there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse. Who is Jesse? Jesse is the father of King David. King David came out of Jesse's loins, and then eventually Yahushua came out of that lineage, that kingly lineage. And a branch shall grow out of his roots. The branch is dealing with Yahushua, right? Now, when we jump down to the 10th verse, and in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people, which is Yahushua. To it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious. This word Gentiles here is not talking about the actual Gentiles. It's talking about the Israelite foreigners scattered among these nations. All right? Let's get the word Gentiles, which is the plural form. And this is why people get all twisted and contorted. The word for Gentiles is the word Gawaya, but in the case of Gentiles, is Gawayum. The yum at the end makes it plural. All right? So Gawaya, which is singular for nation, means nation, people. Nation, people, usually of non-Hebrew people. It's just people. It's just a nation, and people. It just means nation in general. Whether it's talking about an Israelite, whether it's talking about a heathen or whatever. Usually a non-Hebrew people. Not all the time. It depends on the context of the scripture, and this is where people get caught up. The word Gentile. Oh, that's talking about the heathens. No, not in every case. This is why you have to qualify it. This is why you have to, learn or know the context of what it's speaking of. When it's speaking of salvation, good things coming to those Gentiles, those are Israelites, Israelite foreigners. When it speaks about judgment, destruction, captivity, slavery, that's talking about the actual heathen. Of descendants of Abraham, yeah, you could say that because nation and companies of nation came out of Abraham. Of Israel, see? So there's times when it applies to Israel. A swarm of locusts, other animals. So you have to know when you're reading the scriptures, what context is it bringing out. So this here is talking about the Israelites scattered throughout the nations. And how do we know that? Because when you read the very next verse, it says, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall send his hand again the second time to recover or redeem, bring back the remnant or the remainders of his people, because you have an election that's going to be saved, which shall be left from Assyria and from Egypt and from Pathros and from Cush and from Elam and from Shinar and from Hamath and from the islands of the sea. So the Lord is going to be around these nations to gather those Israelites. And those Israelites that's in those nations that are being called by those nations' nationality, they're going to seek to the Lord. All right. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, which is Yahushua, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. And this is what the Lord is coming to do. And this is why you'll see the word Gentile, because the Israelites became foreign to the Lord. Not all of them, but some of them did. A good portion of them did. All right. So it spoke about the root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people. Right. Let's go from there. Let's go to Genesis. I just want to keep this other precept. Let's go to Genesis chapter 49 and verse 8. Judah is Yahweh, or the so-called Negroes, the head tribe. Thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise, right? Because Judah is the head. This is why they can do such amazing things, and this is why everyone on the planet Earth wants to be Judah, but nobody wants to be Judah. It confused the hell out of me. Inside joke. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. Yeah, because Jake is going to eventually get their hands around Esau, the main enemy, and the nations too. You could continue reading on in Isaiah 11 chapter, and it goes into that. It says, thy father's children shall bow down before thee. Yeah, because, Judah is the head tribe. And if you have a problem with that, then you have a problem with the order that the Lord set up. And you ain't going to make it. Judah is the lion's whelp from the prey, my son, thou art gone up. Yeah, you pretty much, left off knowing who the enemy is, loving your enemy, but hating your own brothers. He stooped down, he couched as a lion, right? You got lazy. Back in the 60s and the 70s, Jake was more in tune with knowing who the enemy is. Today, you Jakes have no clue, who the enemy is. You're looking at your own people as the enemy, right? And as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? Because the Lord is going to stir Jacob to go against Esau. He's going to fan those flames, and we're coming into some really, really rough times right now, you know, and it's going to intensify. It says, the scepter shall not depart from Judah. Why? Because a scepter represents rulership. Judah is the head, nor a lawgiver from between his feet until Shiloh come. Shiloh means what? Peace, right? In the land of Ephraim, I believe that was Samaria, if I'm not mistaken. You had the first place where the Ark of the Covenant was at, where they kept, you know, everything at was in Shiloh. Then it was taken, and then from there, it ended up in Jerusalem because that was the final destination where the worship of Yahweh Bashem Shai would happen. Shayalah, he whose it is, that which belongs to him, tranquility, meaning uncertain. Tranquility, when something is tranquil, is what? Is peaceful. So it's like another way of saying peace. The word epithet of the Messiah. Right. This is another name for Yahweh Shai. Let's see. Shalah is to be at rest, prosper, be quiet, be at ease. So what? It also means to be at peace, secure or successful. So peaceful until Shiloh come, the one that's going to secure the peace of the people to recover the remnant of the nation of Israel. All right. It says, the scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet until Shiloh come, and unto him shall the gathering of the people be. See? So who is the people? The Israelites. In this case, it'll be the elect of the nation of Israel, and the rest will come back through, through the ones that make it out of here. All right, because not all Israel that's on the soils of America, Babylon the Great, is going to make it. So let's go back here, since we established that. So pretty much the Lord is coming to gather Israel from among all these nations. Why? Because that was what happened to us. Let's go to Nehemiah real quick, and then we'll go get to this other one. Nehemiah chapter 1 and verse 8. Remember, I beseech you, the word that thou commandest thy servant Moses, saying, if you transgress, I will scatter you abroad among the nations. When you look up that word nations there, right, you have the word, or in this case, they have the word ba'ayim yam, which is the people, or in people. Ayim is people. But the word usually translated as nation in the English is usually the word Gentile or Gawaya. In this case, it's just people, among the people. All right. Right. It says, I will scatter you abroad among the nations, but if you turn unto me and keep my commandments and do them, though they were of you cast out unto the uttermost part of the heaven, yet will I gather them from thence, and I will bring them unto the place that I have chosen to set my name there. So the Israelites will be scattered and gathered. And how is the gathering going to come? Through Yahweh Shai, by this gospel, which is his word. Let's go to Baruch chapter 5. Let's go straight to the point. 5 and 5. Baruch chapter 5 and 5. Arise, O Jerusalem, and stand on high, and look about toward the east, and behold thy children gathered from the west. Where are we at? In the western hemisphere. Unto the east. And how are the children of Israel being gathered from the west? By the word of the Holy One, rejoicing in the remembrance of the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Shai, because we were lost and we had to be brought back. Right? Let's go to Baruch chapter 2 and verse 29. It says, if you will If you will not hear my voice, and surely this very great multitude shall be turned into a small number among the nations where I will scatter them. Everywhere you turn, it speaks about the Israelites being scattered. This is why the Apostle James addressed his letter to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting. If you will not hear my voice, surely this very great multitude shall be turned into a small number among the nations where I will scatter them. See? For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff necked people, but in the land of their captivities they shall remember themselves. See? And shall know that I am the Lord their power, for I will give them an heart and an ears to hear, and they shall praise me in the land of their captivity and think upon my name, because the Lord's going to bring us back to remembrance. And he's doing that through the gathering of the internet.